In October of 2025, the Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a recall that the power tool industry tried to quietly sweep under the rug. Why are brand new chainsaws failing their most basic safety test on the very first tank of fuel? Why is the Husqvarna you buy at Lowe's not the same machine your Arborist uses, even when the logo, the color, and the model family look identical? And why does one of the largest tool brands in America have more than 90,000 units sitting on American shelves right now that could lose their chain brake during operation? We are going to expose the tiered manufacturing system destroying this industry and show you the only 3 chainsaws you should actually buy with your money in 2026. If you have walked into a Lowe's or a Home Depot recently to buy a chainsaw, you might believe you are looking at a competitive marketplace. You see brand names like Husqvarna, Echo, Poulan, Craftsman, Homelite, Ryobi, Greenworks, and Cobalt. You assume these are different companies fighting to build you the best saw. That is an illusion. The reality is that a handful of massive corporations control almost everything on that shelf. Techtronic Industries, a Hong Kong conglomerate with more than $15 billion in annual sales, owns Milwaukee, Ryobi, Homelite, and the Hart brand that Walmart sells. Husqvarna Group, controlled by Sweden's Wallenberg family through investor AB, owns Husqvarna, Poulan, Poulan Pro, McCulloch, Weed Eater, and Jonsered. Stanley Black Decker, the company that acquired Craftsman from Sears in 2017, purchased the remaining 80% of MTD Holdings in 2021 for $1.6 billion, sweeping up Troy-Bilt, Remington, and Cub Cadet in the process. When you buy a Craftsman chainsaw, you are not buying from the company your grandfather trusted. You are buying from a publicly traded giant that licensed an old name onto a clamshell engine that was designed to be thrown away. But the consolidation is only the surface. The real story is hidden inside the engine, and it starts with a deliberate decision by the world's 2 biggest chainsaw brands to build 2 completely different classes of machine, sold at 2 completely different kinds of store to 2 completely different kinds of buyer. Most consumers have no idea which tier they are actually holding when they walk out of the store with the box. Walk into a Husqvarna dealer and ask for a Husqvarna 550 XP Mark II. They will have one. Walk into Lowe's and ask for the same saw. They will not have it, they will never have had it, and they cannot order it for you. That is not an accident. Husqvarna runs a clearly segmented 2-tier lineup that the company itself does not openly advertise as a tier system. The Rancher line, which includes the 120, the 440, the 450, the 455, and the 460, is sold at Lowe's, Tractor Supply, and Amazon. The XP Professional line, which includes the 540, the 545, the 550, the 562, the 572, and the 592, is sold only through authorized servicing dealers. Style goes even further. Style refuses to sell through Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, or Amazon at all. Peter Burton, Steel's Vice President of Sales and Marketing, told Green Industry Pros magazine that rival brands chasing mass merchant profit margins had, in his words, cheapened their products and eroded their brand. The Steel corporate website is even blunter, stating plainly that the company sells premium tools through knowledgeable dealers, which is why you will never find a Steel chainsaw in a big box store. Why does any of this matter to you, the buyer? Because the difference between a Rancher and an XP, or between a big box homeowner Steel and a dealer-only professional Steel, is not a cosmetic upgrade. It is a completely different engine built to a completely different standard. The Rancher sitting on the shelf at Lowe's uses what the industry calls a clamshell engine. A split metal crankcase is bolted together with 4-through bolts and then dropped inside a composite polymer chassis. When a crank bearing spins, when the cylinder scores, when a seal fails, you do not rebuild that saw. You throw it away. The XP sitting at the dealer uses a horizontally split magnesium crankcase with a bolt-on Nikasil plated cylinder. Every single wear part, every bearing, every seal, every ring is serviceable. But here is what nobody at the big box store will ever tell you. The exact same plastic clamshell architecture is inside every Poulan, every Craftsman, every Ryobi, and every Homelite you will ever see on a hardware shelf in America. And it gets worse, because the same federal rules that tried to clean up lawnmower emissions in the 2000s have quietly turned every mass-market chainsaw into a piston time bomb. Under the Environmental Protection Agency's Phase 3 standards, finalized in 2008 and phased into handheld small engines by 2012, manufacturers were forced to cap fuel flow using fixed jet or limiter-capped carburetors. The result is that almost every new chainsaw rolling off a big box shelf today is running dangerously lean straight from the factory. A verified arborist on the Arborist site forum wrote, quote, "I noticed some 590 Echoes come very lean from factory," end quote. He added that one brand new saw in his shop had already scored its piston and cylinder after only 6 months of homeowner use. Another buyer taked his brand new saw at nearly 13,000 RPM straight out of the box, the high end of the factory range and a telltale sign of lean running. Multiple technicians across the country have posted photographs of brand new saws, including units from well-respected brands, that melted a piston on the first tank of fuel. This is not a manufacturing defect. It is a regulatory compliance decision. The factory sets the carburetor lean to pass an emissions test. You take the saw home, you run 87 octane ethanol pump gas with the wrong oil ratio, and a week later you have a scored cylinder and a worthless paperweight. You might think the warranty will protect you. It will not. Stihl's standard warranty is 1 year for non-commercial use and only 90 days for professional use. You can double that warranty, but only if you buy a 6-pack of Stihl 2-stroke oil or a full gallon of Stihl Motomix on the same receipt. And Stihl specifically excludes its top handle Arborist saws and concrete cutoff machines from the extension. Husqvarna is similar. You can extend the basic 2-year warranty up to 5 years, but only if you buy 96 fluid ounces of Husqvarna premix fuel on the same invoice, and commercial or rental or agricultural use voids the extension entirely. Here is where it gets darker. When you buy your saw at a big box store, nobody test fires it. Nobody tunes the carburetor. Nobody checks the oiler flow. Nobody demonstrates the chain brake to you. The box is handed over the counter, the receipt is printed, and you walk out with a machine that has never once been started. When it fails on the first tank, most independent dealers will refuse to even look at it because they did not sell it to you, and diagnosing a warranty claim takes unpaid hours they cannot recover. But the most shocking case study in the entire industry is Echo. Echo is the one major brand that officially sells at both Home Depot and at independent authorized dealers, with identical model numbers on both shelves. The same CS490, the same CS590, same paint, same sticker, same price on the box, but they are not always the same saw. Echo's parent company is Yamabiko Corporation, formed in 2008 by the merger of Kyoritsu and Shindaiwa. Some Echo engines are cast, machined, and fully assembled in Japan. Others have their Japanese engines shipped to Lake Zurich, Illinois, where they are married to a United States-built plastic chassis for tariff optimization. The only way to know which one you are actually holding is to read the full country of origin line on the data plate stuck to the bottom of the power head. And then, in October of 2025, the Milwaukee Tool Company, owned by Techtronic Industries, was forced to recall 90,860 units of its M18 Fuel top handle chainsaw because the chain brake could fail during operation. One worker had already cut his finger. That is nearly 100,000 cordless chainsaws sold across Home Depot and independent tool retailers across the United States that had not passed their most basic safety test before they went out the door. So what do you actually buy with your money? The first rule is that you stop shopping like a consumer and start thinking like a mechanic. At the entry level, For anyone cutting 2 to 4 cords of firewood a year, the single best value in the entire United States market is the Echo CS 490 Timber Wolf. 50.2 cubic centimeters of displacement, 10.6 pounds dry, an 18 or 20 inch bar, a street price between $329 and $399 at Home Depot or at any Echo dealer. Its engine is cast and pre-built in Japan by Yamabiko. It comes with a 5-year consumer warranty with no fuel purchase required to activate it, the longest standard warranty in the American chainsaw industry. At the mid-tier, for a property owner cutting 5 to 10 cords a year, the answer is the Echo CS 590 Timber Wolf, 59.8 cubic centimeters, 13.2 pounds, a 20-inch bar, under $500 at most dealers. It has a true magnesium crankcase, dual bumper spikes, and a professional-grade Wallenberg carburetor. One longtime property owner on the Tractor by Net forum, who runs a Steel MS 271, a Husqvarna 455 Rancher, and an Echo CS 590 side-by-side, wrote plainly, quote, "I would keep the Echo 590 hands down," end quote. At the professional tier, the answer is the Steel MS 362 CM, 59 cubic centimeters, 12.3 pounds. Techtronic Electronic Fuel Management, which eliminates the high and low carburetor adjustment screws and automatically compensates for altitude, temperature, fuel quality, and filter condition. Street price runs between $899 and $959 at any authorized Steel dealer. A majority of style powerheads sold in America are built in Virginia Beach, Virginia, at a 1.4 million square foot facility that has been in continuous operation since 1974. When you buy a Steel NMES 362, a real technician mixes your fuel, pre-oils the bar, starts the saw, tunes the carburetor to your altitude, and demonstrates the chain brake before you walk out the door with it. That is what the words dealer grade actually mean. They do not mean a fancier color scheme or an upgraded sticker. They mean the saw has been built, tuned, and tested by someone whose livelihood depends on it starting the very first time you pull the cord. And now, the single most important thing in this entire video. The best upgrade you can buy for any chainsaw at any price point is not a new bar, not a new chain, and not a muffler modification. It is a $35 Steel 2 in 1 easy file kit, or its near identical German-made cousin, the Ferd Chain Sharp, which uses a Swiss-made Ryobi file. These are small plastic handles fitted with 2 round files and a depth gauge, and they sharpen the cutter tooth and the raker in a single stroke. A sharp chain self feeds into the wood. It throws long chips, not fine dust. It extends the life of your bar by 3 to 5 times because a dull chain forces operator pressure, peens over the bar rails, and overheats the cylinder. $35. That is all it takes. The era of widespread quality and mass market power tools is over, and the biggest brands are banking on you not noticing. They are counting on you to be distracted by the color of the plastic shroud, so that you do not notice the clamshell engine rotting inside it. But if you know where to look, and if you are willing to step out of the big box system and into an authorized servicing dealer, you can still buy a chainsaw that will outlast you. Do not let Techtronic Industries, Husqvarna Group, or Stanley Black Decker take your money for a machine that was engineered to fail. Check the tier, check the country of origin on the data plate, and never, ever underestimate the power of a $35 file kit. If you found this breakdown useful, hit subscribe for more gear investigations, and we will see you on the next one.